Well, when I look back and I think about what made me want to get some help, my life hadn't crumbled yet, but it seemed like there was a possibility. And other people in my family had had their life crumble with alcohol and drugs. I was drinking when I was happy, I was drinking when I was sad, I was drinking a lot. And it took its toll on my body. I started not feeling well. And I could see that I was no longer in what I considered the social drinker category. And yet I didn't want to relinquish that drug that I had, that alcohol. I mean, it served so many purposes in my life. And then if I admitted I was an alcoholic, I gave patient care in this community. And of course, I would be silly to think that I wouldn't run across my patients. So I had all these things to consider. But I actually made a strong decision one day that I had tried on my own and it wasn't working. So I asked for help outside of myself, and I found that at Thelma McMillan. I came to select Thelma McMillan. It was kind of a simple solution for me because Mo Gelbart is a personal friend of mine. And I called Mo, and again, I had to admit to a friend of mine that I felt that I had this issue. And it feels so overwhelming, like it's just you. You're the only one that it's happening to. So he guided me right away, and I was very, very grateful for that. When I was going through the program, of course, initially, your life is upside down. Your very best friend, your alcohol, you had to give it up. You've got, 2 or 3 days of sobriety. You're not probably really thinking that straight. And you look around, and everybody's a loser except you. You don't have any of those problems. I don't know if I belong here. So, true to form, I called my friend Mo, and I said, Mo, I don't know. I've never had any of those things happen to me. And he said, you want to wait till you do? And I thought, wow, do I want to wait till they do? Not so much. So I started looking for similarities instead of differences. And I've had the privilege of attending meetings all over the world because I'm a great traveler. I love to travel. And I find meetings, especially when it was early in my sobriety, I found them all over the world. And what I have found is it's the same story with a different accent. It's amazing how we alcoholics, we do so much of the same things, so many of the same things. It's amazing to me. And so that's what I did. I looked for similarities and I found them. And I found tools to help me cope with what I was coping with, giving up my best friend. I relied on alcohol. I'm a very high energy person. And pretty much that was how I relaxed, was with a glass of wine in the evening. Then it became 2 and 3 and who knows how many. I'm 14 years sober, and I cannot tell you how wonderful it feels. I have an amazing life. It's not completely stress-free. My grandkids just got in a car accident. I'm so grateful they're still here. It's not stress-free, but I don't even think about using alcohol when I hear a stressor in my life anymore. And that's a wonderful thing. And that I know that I'm not free from that. I know that there may be a day where I think, sounds like a good solution. But for today, it's no solution for me. And I feel really good about that. You know, when you're trying to figure out if you need help or you don't need help, or do you drink too much, or is it just sometimes, one of the things I would encourage you to ask yourself is, if you're thinking a lot about how much you're drinking or whether you need help, you probably need help. So why not give it a go? When you step into a program, you can, it fit it into your life. I used an outpatient program after work, but I took it very seriously, and I looked upon it as a way to discover new coping mechanisms. I think one of the things is that most of us come to realize that when we found alcohol, it was that alchemy that made us feel comfortable. We felt more comfortable with ourselves. We fit in better. And it was the medium that we chose. And so when I started hearing people's stories, so many people had the same story. When they found that alcohol, that was what made them feel better. And I realized, yeah, that's what it did for me too. I thought I was just relaxing with it, but I felt better when I drank alcohol about myself, when in reality, it created self-esteem issues, it created depression, it created all kinds of things that I didn't know was secondary to the use of alcohol. So when I started hearing everybody else's stories, there it was. There was my story. I could close my eyes and listen to someone else and hear my story, when in fact they were telling their story. I try to always come back to Thelma on my birthday to speak to the group. And the reason I do that is I can so remember that feeling of almost feeling lost when you first decide to become sober. And you're sitting in that room and you've got 2 days, and somebody stands up and says, "Hi, I'm here. I'm an alcoholic and I have 9 years of sobriety." And you think, 9 years without a drink? That's an amazing concept. So I remember that so strongly that I've gone back every birthday to remind people that it can happen for you. And it's an amazing, the way you come out is just, it's incredible. What can I say?